What's going on, everybody? This is Ezequiel Casas. I'm here for another episode of my Denim Diaries. So basically, the last few pairs of denim I've been pretty fortunate to find in places like Crossroads or Buffalo Exchange, and even places like Goodwill and Out of the Closet. The issue with some of these places is that they get so much inventory that I spend a lot of time going from one place to another, sifting through. Probably like 75% of them are Levi's. Some of them don't fit me, or they've been washed in the wrong way, and so the indigo dye has been compromised. And so that's one of the things that I always look at when I'm going out, is I'm not just looking for the brand. I'm not just looking for, does it sort of fit on me? Because I bought some things that they're a good brand, but they're too big. And you want to be really specific with how you're spending your time and money. So obviously you can go to an actual denim store and you can just buy, spend $250 to $300 to buy some really good Japanese raw salvage denim and call it a day and ride out into the sunset with those. I personally would rather just spend a little bit more time, have fun. I'm going to be biking around San Francisco all day, just going to these various consignment stores, trying to look for some of these high shelf brands like Samurai Jeans, etc. Like I said, I'm looking for raw Japanese salvage denim, as raw as I can get it. Because what's good about these luxury consignment stores is that they're a lot more picky and a lot more scrupulous with what they take. So if you bring in some denim that's been, washed in the wrong way, they're probably not going to take it, and they're probably not going to give you, or they're not going to give you the amount of money that you want, so that you end up, some of those jeans, I've seen some high level or high fashion brands, and they've been washed in the wrong way, and so it's like, you can't really get that back, and so it's not really worth you spending that time, that money, and buying a pair of jeans that's already faded in the wrong way. Let's talk about these jeans. I actually picked up these jeans at a Crossroads, and I made sure that they fit. I made sure that the indigo dye hadn't been compromised, and as a tertiary thing, I just made sure they were kind of a decent brand. So these are some Tellison dark wash jeans. These are made in San Francisco, and as somebody from the Bay Area, it's actually cool to be wearing a brand that's made locally here. A lot of Bay Area culture is about supporting local, wearing some local stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna be riding off into San Francisco, trying to find some high quality denim jeans at some of these luxury brands. So I've just read an article, I'll link it to it in the bottom if you're in the Bay Area and you wanna check out some of these stores that I go to. So anyway, let's get a move on. I'm gonna hop on my bike and let's go check this out. See you around. Peace. All right, so our first stop at Fashion File is a little bit of a bust. Probably sign of the times here, post-pandemic, all that. Seems like they've moved into the Neiman Marcus area, so guess I'll go check that out. All right, Fashion File was a little bit of a bust again. I showed up and they're on lunch until 2 o'clock. It's now 1:30 and I don't really feel like spending an hour or another half hour here standing awkwardly around while people kind of give me dirty looks. So I'm gonna go off to Chris Consignment. That's my next stop. All right, see you there. As a side note, I just want to note that some of this quote-unquote high fashion is ugly AF. Just to let you know. All right, next up, Chris Consignment. All right, so I've arrived at Chris Consignment. It seems like there's another consignment store, thrift store called Relove right next to it. So I'm getting a 2-for-1 deal. All right, let's see what they have. Yo, what's good, everybody? So first off, big shout out to Relove, big shout out to Michael who's working there. I wasn't able to actually get an interview with him because he's working, you know, I want to be professional, but I highly recommend this place. They have an amazing selection, very warm and welcoming, and the price point is awesome. So come check them out. I actually got 2 pairs of amazing jeans. They fit great, and they were exactly what I was looking for. Japanese denim, high quality, no fades on it, and additionally, Michael sat with me, talked with me for a little bit, gave me some of the 411 in terms of consignment versus thrifting. They both actually had some experience working at thrift stores such as Crossroads. 2 big things just to take away when you're going thrifting or consigning: be very cognizant of the neighborhood that you're going to. So certain neighborhoods will be, you know, obviously higher fashion. He suggested a place called Sui Generis in the Castro. As I mentioned before, I like the Castro area because when I went to the Crossroads, I always found great stuff. So, a few takeaways. I'm gonna, you know, boil it down. Like he was mentioning too, consignment stores really take the time to curate and make sure that the stuff is quality, as well as kind of just each consignment store kind of has its own vibe. As I mentioned, the Fashion File and the Neiman Marcus, way too upscale for me. Additionally, they can have kind of like a hoity-toity attitude. To be honest, a couple of these places I felt uncomfortable being in, even though, you know, I'm not dressed, you know, totally streetwear. And, you know, this place, Relove, damn, just really has a great vibe to it. I highly recommend it. So we're off to our next little spot. See y'all around. All right, so this is why it's good to check out a map. I just checked out for the next location, Simply Chic. And luckily, before going there, I found out that they're temporarily closed. So I'm not sure if they're actually going to reopen, but also they mentioned that the store mostly just sells accessories and a lot of high-end stuff. Probably not what I was looking for. So that saves me a trip pretty far out that way, but I think I'm going to have to end up that way anyway for my next stop. All right, so we are here at the Crossroads, the flagship San Francisco location. Gonna check it out. As Michael said at the store before, a little bit more of just a generic selection. Sometimes probably harder to find a diamond in the rough, but also he just said, just judging on the neighborhood that it's located in, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find some cool shit. So let's check it out. All right, so as I was previously advised, Crossroads is a little bit difficult. This location in particular had mostly just women's stuff, only maybe 1 rack that combined mostly all of the menswear. And as he said, you know, you're just kind of just sifting through a bunch of junk that people give away that's, you know, decent quality, but it's not high-end stuff. So let's keep going. Let's see what else is out there. After a really long bike ride, I'm here in the Presidio by the Goodbyes Consignment. This is a place that was recommended to me by Michael. So I'm gonna check it out. It seems like they're undergoing some construction and they've got a couple locations opened up right here on Sacramento. So I'm just gonna roll around, see what they got to offer. All right, let's check it out. All right, so it seems like this store right here is just predominantly all women's stuff. Actually, it's all women's stuff, but the kind lady inside directed me a couple blocks down to 3333 Sacramento Street, where I'll find some men's stuff. All right, let's roll out. All right, made it over here to the Goodbyes men's area here in the Presidio. The bouge is strong with this area, so we'll see what's going on. All right. So the denim selection here was a little bit lacking. I saw some certain brands, not ones that I was really attracted to. But as with most things, you just have to keep coming back, looking for them, and just being specific with what you want. These guys seem to be more trading in suits, just fine menswear. So when I want a suit, when I'm resuiting up again, have a nice suit already, I'll probably come by here, check it out. So I highly recommend this place if you want to get high-end, like I said, suit wear, button-up shirts, slacks, jackets, ties, and shoes, and socks. So this place is pretty cool. Probably come back. On to the next one. Well, another great store. Unfortunately, they didn't have a massive selection of menswear in general. They had a very amazing decor though, so I would highly recommend coming by here if you're looking for more high fashion women's stuff or just a great place to hang out. It's in a great neighborhood, and I highly recommend it to any ladies who are looking for some cool dresses or some jackets or things. Also, there's some really nice mirrors, these gold trim wooden looking mirrors. So that's something that I'm keeping my eye out for as well. I don't think I'm going to find it in any sort of consignment store for sale. Anyway, off to the next one. Alright, so I'm at Haight and Belvedere right now. Seems to be a lot of vintage or thrift stores around here, so it seems like this is a good place to kind of end this part of the journey. I'm getting pretty tired. It's been a full day of biking. So I'm gonna check out Wasteland. Across the street there's Indigo. There's a couple other spots down the block that I'm just gonna round out my journey and just check these out. Alright, see you soon. All right, next stop, I'm gonna roll up into here, Indigo Vintage. It's right across the street. And then right across the street of that, it's another place called Decades of Fashion. So we're gonna roll up into Indigo Vintage, see what they got. Didn't have a lot of, they had a decent amount of selection at the Wasteland. Didn't see any brands that I really liked. Found some APC jeans that I could fit into, but I could not move in. So those I had to pass on because I want to be able to do stuff in these jeans. So Indigo Vintage had a pretty decent selection of kind of mid-range, mid-level denim jeans. You're seeing a lot of vintage Levi's, vintage Wranglers, but nothing really too high shelf. So I'm gonna scoot over to the next one called Decades of Fashion, see how that plays out. All right, see you in a second. What's going on, everybody? Just got back from San Francisco, had a really nice bike ride out there, and I just wanted to check in with you guys about the first half of my consignment store haul from San Francisco. So as I mentioned, I went on sort of a mini loop around San Francisco, around the northern half of it. Ran out of time to do the second half. There were about 6 more stores sprinkled around that area. Hopefully I can tackle that in another video on another day. But for right now, I just wanted to share with everybody some of the clothes that I was able to find. My shoes are off because I'm exhausted, my feet hurt a little bit. I just want to cool out. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you the 2 pairs of jeans that I was able to find at the store called Relove on Polk Street. I highly recommend this store. I had a great time there, and more importantly, I was able to find the exact jeans that I was looking for. And I mean exact, I mean literally exact jeans that I was looking for. So first up is those jeans. These are a Self-Edge and Ironheart, Self-Edge being an American brand, Ironheart being a Japanese brand. These are made in Japan. It is a collaboration, so I mean, some people might be like, oh, it's not pure and whatever. But these are originally 33 on the waist, but they've been washed one time, and I guess whoever had them, they shrunk a little bit too much. So as most people know, your jeans are gonna shrink a little bit when you do the first washing as it gets used to your form, it just gets used to washing or whatever. So I noticed that on the tag itself, these are measured as a 31-inch waist, which is my size. So I asked the clerk at the store, which one should I go with? Should I go with the 33 or should I go 31? And they assured me that they had re-measured these and these were 31. I went to try them on and they fit like a glove. I mean, these are great. You know, I knew instantly I wanted them. As I mentioned before in the beginning, I set out for a very specific objective. I wanted to get Japanese raw denim, you know, made in Japan. These might not be raw because, you know, they've probably been washed or, you know, worn in a little bit. But as I mentioned to you before, these are the real deal. As everybody knows, Ironheart is very, very heavy denim. So it's built to last, it's durable, it's not gonna come apart after, you know, a few washes like some of these more, you know, made to wear brands, some of them do. So just looking at it right now, it says Self-Edge collaboration, heavyweight selvage, 21 ounce. These are some hefty, hefty jeans. And I'm looking forward to wearing them, having some fun in them, going and biking with them. So obviously wanted to make sure these were the 100% cotton. I don't want to get anything less than that. All right, so these were $145. I'm gonna look them up online and I'm very certain that I got a steal because these things, this brand in particular, Ironheart, is not cheap. You can just really start going into that 300, 350, sometimes even 500 range. I've been to the Self-Edge store in San Francisco and you're probably gonna be spending 200 to 250 just base, just to get a pair. And that's not even the really good stuff. So I'm actually gonna take a second. And so you can see right there, I just did the research after the fact, and you can see right there that these were actually a steal. A lot of people would say $125 for jeans, that's a lot. It was actually $145 for jeans, that's a lot. But honestly, when you think about it in the long term, when you think about these, you know, really going the distance, going about 10, maybe even longer, 10 years or longer, because if you take good care of them and you maintain the integrity of this very high quality denim, these things are built to last. So that's the first pair. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, you know, big shouts out to Michael at Relove. He was a homie. He kind of walked me through some of the things that I hadn't thought about. One of the major points is that not all consignment stores are built equally. So if you can see in the video, I went to some of these places and a lot of them were very high fashion, haute couture, whatever. Relove was a spot for me. I loved it. It just kind of reminded me of the funky little thrift stores that I grew up with, where they kind of got a nice spread of everything. Yes, they did have some very high brand stuff. I did see some Dior, Chanel, jeans and things like that. But as I mentioned, that's not what I was really going for. So shouts out to Relove, shouts out to Michael. He's the man, and word. All right, so that's the first one. So the second one, I also got from Relove, literally right next to the ones that I just showed you guys. And these are Capital jeans. I've never actually seen the brand. As I mentioned before, I was really looking for, samurai brand jeans. That's sort of the holy grail that I was looking for in terms of consignment. So I'll probably end up going back to Relove. Second pair are Capital jeans. It says here, produced by the so-and-so factory in Okayama, made in Japan. Looks very legit, mid-rise selvage jean, Capital Indigo 31-inch waist. So let's see if there's anything. Just show them off. See the little self-edge tag, whatever they call it. So as I mentioned before, what I'm really looking for is that these jeans have not been worn in enough to the point where I'm not really telling my story. I'm kind of retelling somebody else's story. And I can see that there's maybe a little bit of wear, maybe somebody put it through, but it's not enough for me just to say, these are completely woofed. I can't work with them. As I mentioned, I tried them on, they fit great. You can move around with them. That is another aspect of what kind of cancels out. So later at the hate, I actually did try on some APC 31 waist jeans that I've tried and true. Those always fit me. Unfortunately, the cut was just way too small in the thigh, and I could barely lift my knee above my hip. I mean, it wasn't gonna work. And as I mentioned, I'm biking around a lot. That's one of the things that I love to do. Even when I dance, I'm not doing a lot of high knee stuff, but I want to be mobile. So when I saw these, I tried them on, did the high knee test, and I said, let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. I'm really happy with this. I spent about a day learning about consignment stores, learning about the process of buying Japanese denim, realizing that it's a little bit more tricky to find it, even in a place like San Francisco, where you have a lot of people who are very fashion oriented. I honestly thought that I would have to, go spin back around to some of these places. I guess the article that I printed out, I didn't look too deeply into it. Some of them did only, so Chris Consignment, the Crossroads on Fillmore, and then I think another one, I don't remember which one. Designer Consignment on Sacramento, I want to say. So those three were very much more women's clothing oriented. I would say at least 80 to 90% women's clothes. So that was my part one of my consignor journey in San Francisco. This Friday, I'm gonna probably try to hit up the other half of the loop, and I'll clue you guys in. If I find something again, I'll maybe buy it. This is already about $300 worth of Japanese denim, and as I mentioned, that's not that much money when you think about the quality and the brand of the denim, because you can really start racking up a pretty decent tab. All in all, came out with a steal. I'm really happy about it, and I got to explore some parts of San Francisco that I haven't really explored. I'm gonna show some of the photos and the videos that I took there. And it was just a fun day, I left the house and just said, all right, this is gonna be my day. I did it, I'm back. I came back with a little micro haul, and I'm happy. So thanks to everybody for watching. This is another chapter in my denim diaries. Happy Jean Day to me. These are gonna be part of my little collection. I have my 5 right now. I'll probably get a couple more pairs, and that's gonna be it for me. I'll just ride out into the sunset with 7 pairs of decent jeans from, kind of the different shelves. I'd say the APC are just nice, ready to wears. Then you have the Tellisons that I'm wearing right now. I'd say those are like mid shelf. And then you have these that are, you know, very quality designer brands from Japan, which is what I was looking for. And obviously, still gonna keep biking around looking for those samurai jeans. You know, I'm sure they're out there. It's just a matter of waiting, hitting up the right spots at the right times, and you know, just saying I'm gonna hold out for these. And if not, I can't just go and buy them. But I think this was a really fun adventure, little bit of an odyssey that I took, and honestly, I'd do it again. And so yeah, probably this Friday, jump back on my bike, go to San Francisco, hit up those last 5 spots, and you know, see where that takes me. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and catch you soon. Peace.